This is a podcast of Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Hey, everybody.
Hi, guys.
We're on holidays at the moment.
Oh, I'm loving it.
And
Sick.
loving it.
We've gotten a collection of some of the finest work that we've done throughout the year. Oh, guys.
And then we padded it out with some rubbish.
Don't undersell it, no.
Yeah.
Don't undersell it.
And this, of course, being a live broadcast. Today's best bits are all about...
From the Vault 2018.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Oh, my God. Right to the point you are.
Enjoy.
This is Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
All right, this man needs absolutely no introduction, but I will anyway. Keith Urban, hello.
Hello.
Keith.
Keithy.
Good morning.
Keith, how are you?
How are you guys?
Yeah,
We're
good, buddy.
fantastic.
Well, you're up bright and early.
Yeah.
Welcome to our lives, mate.
Well, we're pretty keen to
Yeah,
talk
right.
to you, actually, mate. We're very excited. That's why.
Hey, so we're up.
What
So
time do you guys have to get up in the morning?
we get up about 3:34, around that sort
I'm
of...
closer to 4. I take every minute I can.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
we have to get up and then, get dressed and come straight in here and start talking. What time's the earliest that you can start singing?
Well, that's a good question. Yeah, when we do the Today Show over here, that's kind of, they have you there at like 5 a.m. doing a sound check. And I'm like, the bloody choir is not up at 5 a.m.
Do you have to do like all those warm-up exercises that you see singers do in the movies?
It depends. I mean, depends what song we're doing. It depends what time we went to bed.
Yeah.
All the rest of
Well,
it.
Parallel
Yeah.
Line you would have to because that's high. That's a high song.
Yeah, it's a delicate little thing. This is because it's the first single off the new album, and this is a song I got sent when I was making the record. I spent the last year working on the full-length album to ripcord, and got sent this song while I was in the studio, and I just loved it straight away. Obviously I write a lot of my songs, but every now and then I get sent something like this, and it's Ed Sheeran was one of the writers on it, along with Julia Michaels and a few other people, and I just loved it.
Hey, with that,
I
I was reading that the amount of people that who got involved in
Just
this
about
song as well.
everybody, yep.
With you, Keith, you know how you said, we know you write a hell of a lot of your songs. Do you do the same? Do you write songs and then go, you know what, that would fit such and such, and send them off as well?
This one's for Flavor Flav.
It's weird, I just sent Flavor. Yes, I just sent him a song. It's so weird.
Uncanny.
That would be a great collab, wouldn't it? At least I'd always know what the time is.
I'd love to see you wearing matching clocks in the film clip.
Because in your song, you can because Ed played guitar, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing acoustic guitar, and
You can hear
because
it.
he did the demo. He did the demo of the original, the original demo, which I got sent. And traditionally, of course, I'd replace all the guitar parts and put my own on there. But there's a particular way that Ed plays acoustic that I really love,
yeah,
so I
you
left
can
that
hear
in
it.
there, and I obviously play electric guitar and all the rest.
Because in our heads, when you're writing a song, you would be on a ranch looking at buffalo.
Yeah.
And the house would be on a cliff.
Yeah.
But in reality,
And you've got the wind in your hair.
Yeah. In always the wind's in your hair.
Yeah, because, I don't know, the window's open.
But
or
in
something.
reality, are you at home and Nicole's vacuuming and Faith and Sunday are running around?
You say,
and,
keep it down, Dad's working.
It's a little bit like that at times, but I've got a studio here at the house, but you don't really hear anything from the studio, so it's pretty good. I can work down there, as much as I want.
And can you see the buffalo?
Turned out to be great. And then just buffalo roaming in the backyard.
Hey, Keith, what is Nashville like? You see that everybody who's ever been a country singer lives in that area.
Or you've got to go there to make it.
Yeah. Do you walk down the street and you kind of recognise
Hey,
everyone?
Dolly.
That kind of stuff?
Because you'd have to take notice of every busker because they could be the next new talent.
I know
I'm
it's a
guessing.
heavily populated spot, but is it
Yeah.
like that at all?
Yeah. Oh, it's unbelievable how much the place has changed in the last handful of years, especially. It's gone through the roof. So many people moving here, and it's very much become. It was a city when I moved here, but it really was a town, like a big town.
Yeah.
It was like Brizzy in the 70s.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I moved here. That's what it looked like. And then I've just watched it become Sydney in the last handful of years. It's crazy. But it's a great place to live, really. But having said that, I think the reason I love it so much, the reason we both do, is that we get to travel, so we get to go back to Sydney, we get to go wherever we go, so to sort of travel around and not be in any one place for too long.
Yeah. I was watching the Winter Games and I saw a snowboarder about to go down and do their run, and just beforehand he pulled his phone out of his pocket, checked it and put it back in his pocket. Now, on that, do you take your mobile phone on stage when you're playing in your pocket and vibrate?
No. Imagine that, just mid-song. Just go, just give me a second, hang on a bit.
Yeah,
But like, what if you wanted to take a selfie, Keith? How are you going to do that?
Yeah, I could get somebody to go and get it for me,
Okay.
but yeah, I think having it on stage is not a good idea. But we got a whole bunch of people up on stage one time, and I got some bunch of people up, and they're all got their phones out filming it, and I'm like, of course, you want to do that, no worries. Film it for a little bit and stick your phone away and get into the moment, right?
Yeah.
And they just were filming, and I'm like, okay, cool, got it, captured it. Now, don't, make sure you enjoy the moment too. And they're filming me saying all that.
Hashtag enjoying the moment.
Someone leaned over and said, you know the rule of thumb, if you don't film it, it didn't happen.
Yeah, it didn't happen.
I know. But whoever goes back and looks at that, you have all these videos on your phone. You never go back and look at them.
Yeah, it's like when you're eating a burger and you go, got to take a photo of this.
Yeah.
When did you reminisce again with your family and friends a year later? Go, look, remember that burger?
Oh, what
Let's
a
all blow it
time.
up. Look at the
What a
bacon.
time.
Hey, on your beautiful wife, Nick, Big Little Lies is amazing.
Yeah.
You should be so proud
Thank
of her,
you.
what she's doing for the movement as well. She's just blowing it up at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so proud of her, mate, and particular, and all of them too, Reese and
Yeah.
Laura
Yeah.
and Shirley, all the girls involved, because this is also, and I can never say it enough, this is their baby. Reese and Nicole got this whole thing up and running from the ground all the way into production, all the way into people's homes. So the fact that it's connected the way it has is just, all more power to them.
The Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Hey, Matt, how are you, brother?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Yeah, we're great, mate.
We're getting ready for Top Gear back in action, my friend.
Hey, Matt.
What's coming up this year on the new show?
Yeah, I want to get an answer from you right now. I want us three to state our cars and for you to tell us which one you'd rather take to the track, okay? I drive a PT Chrysler Cruiser convertible. I drive that. Sean?
Okay, I've got a Mazda CX-9.
And I've got a Mazda CX-5.
To the racetrack, I take the CX-5 out of all of them. Who drives the PT Cruiser?
I drive
Nathan.
the PT Cruiser, LeBlanc. What's your problem?
Oh, that's a horrible choice. I'm sorry, but
Hey, Matt, I've got the CX-9. It's got sports mode. That'd go pretty quick, wouldn't it?
yeah, but the CX-5 is smaller, so
Yeah, easy
for the
to handle.
racetrack, that would be better.
Mine's got
Yeah.
racing stripe down the side of it, like some chrome pinstripe stuff, Matt.
Well, that's good for 2 horsepower alone, isn't it?
Hey, Matt, are you more passionate about cars or motorbikes?
Well, it kind of depends what day you catch me on,
Yep.
but off the top of my head, I'd probably have to say more passionate about bikes.
Really? So how many do you have in your collection?
Motorcycles?
Yeah.
Geez, I probably have 30.
30?
So do you have a warehouse?
Yeah.
I mean, how big?
Everyone?
Yeah, I know. Doesn't
That's-
everyone? That's a
That's
good
not
question.
normal. Where do you keep them all?
In the garage.
Your garage.
It's a big garage.
It's a big garage, all
He
right?
even has a garage.
So you've got 30 motorcycles in there. How many cars?
Maybe half a dozen.
Just how many PT Cruisers? I'm just doing an inventory.
Well, now that's funny you should say that because I have none of those.
None.
Oh.
Zero. A
So
total of zero.
what do you mow your lawn with?
Oh.
If you're into boating, you could use that car as an anchor.
Hey! Wow, you know what? There is a PT Cruiser Appreciation Club over here in Australia.
Oh, that'd be
Yeah.
outrage
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah. Matt LeBlanc, check him out on Instagram.
They might mow you down really slowly.
There is not a PT Cruiser Appreciation Club.
Yeah, there is.
Is there really?
Yeah, when I got my PT Cruiser.
What do they do when they get together? They just like, I'm sorry, mate. I'm sorry, mate.
Well,
Sorry, mate. I'm sorry, mate.
they're the
Sorry,
only
mate.
they're the only bunch of people who can drive in school zones and not
Yes.
go over the limit.
It's mostly group therapy, to be honest.
You
Yeah.
guys are terrible. Can't believe this.
Hey, Matt, what's your pride of the fleet? What's the pride of the fleet in your garage?
Well, in terms of bikes, I have probably my favorite bike is my 450 dirt bike, Suzuki. And
Yep.
then cars, probably my I have a GT2 RS, a 997. They only made 500 of those.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
That's a pretty special car. I also have a 1988 Carrera, just a base coupe, Carrera coupe, black
Yep.
over black, that's got 120,000 miles on it. I've gone through the whole car. It's not like a, restored car. I've just gone through mechanically. It's very sound.
And because you've got like 30 bikes and like, you know, heaps of cars and stuff like that, do you have your own like petrol pump in your house?
Question.
I do. I live in LA, but I also have a cattle ranch outside of LA, a few hours north. So at the ranch, I have 2 pumps, one for petrol and one for diesel.
Oh, awesome. Wicked. That is cool.
And he's got a servo where he forces you to buy 2 bottles of Coke for $10.
They're on special. It's much cheaper.
Yeah, lost leader with the petrol, but he gets them everywhere else.
A cool idea having your own pumps, but you know the thing is, you get the bill. The guy comes once a month and fills them up, and you're like, Jesus.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
They're like 350 gallons.
Whoa, that's heavy.
Yeah.
You want to buy that on a cheap day?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. What can we look forward to in this particular series of Top Gear? What are you guys going to be getting up to?
Well, I mean, we went to Japan, we went to Sri Lanka, we went to Northern California, we went to Utah, we went to Spain, we went to Norway, we went to Italy.
It's supposed to be a car show, not a travel show. What the hell are you doing?
Well, that's the great thing about the show is it always starts with the car, and then we kind of build a story around it. We did a film in northern France about the Citroën 2CV.
Oh, I've been in one of those in Paris. They're awesome, aren't they?
Yeah, you know, that's a very special car, and it's a really charming little film we did about it.
Well, I can't even imagine what car it is, but I'm imagining whatever it is, it's got a basket with some baguettes sticking out.
It's pretty close to it, to be honest. They're a very iconic little shape.
Did you ever see that James Bond film, For Your Eyes Only?
Yeah.
With Roger Moore? Yeah. And you remember the girl with the crossbow?
Yes.
Remember, she had one. It was a yellow one, and they're running from the bad guys through all the fields, down the side of the mountain, and they're chasing them in a Mercedes. It was a great chase sequence. That's the 2CV.
Yeah, the Citroën.
And you're having go on my PT Cruiser?
Yes. It was not in the James Bond.
It's not in James. That's right.
All right, that seems like a very good place to finish.
But only
off.
because the production company, you know, the James Bond films, they couldn't afford something as lush as a PT Cruiser. And
that's probably it.
Yeah,
that's
probably
even more special.
And a convertible, that's how he could have shot the bazooka at the bad people.
Yeah.
I mean, the film it's writing itself, man.
Yeah.
Exactly. Well, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Good on you, mate. Enjoy.
Bye.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
Yes.
You know what that music means?
Yep.
Mrs. Brown's Boys time.
I know. And the creator, the star of this show, Brendon O'Carroll, is in here with us. And I just have to firstly apologise for my parents. You are Justin Bieber to them, and they are 13-year-old girls.
I'll have you know, I'm Justin Bieber to everybody.
Brendon, you've been amazing. You've come in. Marlene's had a photo with you. Brian, Nathan's parents, straight away. Oh, they're loving it.
They're lovely people, very nice. It's easy to be nice to people who are nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And they're very nice people.
Hey, Brendon, we know you've been here a couple of times before to Perth. I'm wondering how many relatives you have over in Australia, maybe you're here in Perth. You're one of 11 kids, so most of the Irish leave Ireland.
Yeah, well, we were an immigrant, certainly an immigrant country by the time I was born. I'm the youngest of the 11. So you would have thought that by the time I got to my formative years, there would be somebody in Australia, but they emigrated to South Africa, to America, to Canada. Even one went to Moscow.
Really?
And we didn't have one relative come to Australia. It's really weird.
Well,
I think I'm the only one actually in the show, and there's 33 of us on the road. I'm the only one that hasn't got to a city where I've got a cousin here. Everybody's had a cousin somewhere.
Yeah.
And I haven't. Oh, if it wasn't for Marlene, I wouldn't even have got a hug today.
Hey, to be honest, if it wasn't for you, she wouldn't have got one either. That doesn't touch her.
Well, I enjoyed getting the photograph, but it was lovely. And nice to see your teeth, especially coming out of a handbag.
Brendon, did you ever imagine, because I know that, you know, Agnes Brown was a character that you invented long before it became a TV show. Did you ever imagine that you'd be travelling the world doing this show live in places like Perth?
Do you know, Natalie, I'd love to be able... I'm nearly cocky enough to be able to say I had a plan. I had absolutely no plan. This is a thing that I did for 5 minutes. It's supposed to be run for 5 minutes, 5 days a week on the radio for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It went on to run on the radio for 450 episodes. It then became a movie. Then I wrote 4 novels now. Then 5 stage plays. Then it became a TV series. She had a hit record. My mother used to have a great saying for that. My mother used to say, sometimes things are just like disco music. Don't analyse it, just dance to it. And I'm just dancing.
You know what? I suppose there is something in the not planning it, because Absolutely Fabulous, that was really thrown together at the last minute as well, just to fill a spot. And then that went on for ages as well. So maybe there is something in the spontaneity of just,
Well, I sometimes I think, and it's again a great lesson when I'm 63 now, so when you get to my age, you do start to reflect. Sometimes you got to stop looking for the thing.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're not given a chance for the thing to find you.
Write that down, everyone. Write that
Put
down.
that on a sticker and whack it on your fridge.
Sometimes you're so busy looking for it that it doesn't it doesn't get a chance to find you. You got to stop sometimes and go, well, just let's hang on and see what happens. Let it come to me. Let the world come to me and see and deal with it. And everybody is good at dealing with emergencies with spontaneity if you trust yourself, and it works. I promise.
Hey, Brendon, what's it like working with your missus all the time?
It's great.
She's probably
it's
listening,
weird.
so
It's weird because both of us then have tits, and we both have
That is weird.
Yeah, it's not like that at home. I'm not at home going, who's your mammy, who's your mammy, who's your mammy. It's not like that. But it is weird. But you know what? Again, there is another completely accidental. I didn't know I was going to fall for Jenny. She was in my very first play. I went to see her in I'd written my very first play called The Course. And it was about this guy who was giving a positive mental attitude course to 6, losers, complete losers. And there was one girl in it who was I needed to play a dominated housewife who needed to come out of herself. She was very much dominated by her husband. So I went looking for actresses, and then I went to this show to see a show called Goodbye to the Hill, a real Dublin play. And I had wanted the writer of the show to direct my first comedy because I'd never directed. And he said to me, look, I'm having an opening night of my new play if you want to come and have a look. I said, well, that'd be good. I'll get an idea what kind of comedy he likes, but the rhythm is the same. Yeah. I was late getting to the show because I was over in London trying to get back to Dublin. And when I rang the theatre to say, don't give my ticket away. And they said, oh no, he's asked us to hold the curtain till you get here. I went, oh God, now I felt really under pressure. So I got the ticket, I got there 10 minutes after curtain time. I go, thank you very much, so sorry. I apologised to everybody. Walked into the theatre and the usherette was standing inside the door. And I said, I'm really sorry. He said, oh, just sit down. Yeah. So I said, okay, well, she's not very nice. But it turned out she wasn't the usherette. She was actually part of the play. She to make her entrance from there. Nobody told her they were holding the curtain.
So you were like, you can start now, I'm here.
I was so insulted that I married her.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So that was accidental. I didn't know she was going to be my wife. Then my son Danny was diagnosed as dyslexia very late at 16 years of age. So he said, Dad, look, I can read enough of a script to be an actor. All he wanted to be ever was an actor. So I took him on the road. I did it with all the kids. When they wanted to go on the road and join the show, they had to start as a stagehand, then assistant stage manager, then assistant lights, then assistant cameras. They had to do everything so that they needed to understand what it takes. We come off the show and people come over and ask us for our autograph.
Yeah, of course.
And we get paid really well.
Yeah.
Nobody asks them for autographs.
No. Yeah, sure. And they're working just as hard.
They need to know what it takes so that they can go out and do their job.
Yeah.
And it gives them an appreciation of it. So now I've got my son, my daughter, my son-in-law, my daughter-in-law, my sister, my wife's sister, and any of us that aren't related in the show are sleeping with each other anyway.
Brendon O'Carroll is in the house.
He is, and my mum and dad are just frothing. Mum, get over here. Tell everyone what you love about Brendon and Mrs. Brown's boys, because he's really
in the microphone, Marlene, nice and close. Come on, don't be shy.
Everything. This man speaks my language.
Yeah, my mum's got no morals.
And having a son like you, everyone can understand why.
Yeah. I know, the first day you saw this, you said to me, Nathan, you got to come over. I've recorded this thing that was just on TV.
I did, yes. And I just fell in love with it ever since. Brendon, do you do a lot of ad-libbing as you're going along?
Yeah, but I reckon about 20 to 25% of the show is unexpected. Well, not unexpected for me, but unexpected for the cast. They weren't expecting it.
I think we can pick up on that, especially when you're going through your lines or whatever and you just come out with a one-liner or something and you can see the rest of the actors.
Well, Marlene, I'm very lucky.
Laughing.
I'm the writer, so if they make a mistake on a line, it's a mistake. But if I make a mistake on a line, it's a rewrite.
One of my favourite moments I've ever seen was when a camera accidentally went through a wall.
Oh, Ken, the camera.
Yes.
It's just like kind of, and because it's filmed in front of a live audience, you all just kept going like it was nothing. It was brilliant.
Another time we caught him. He was caught trying to get out of the sitting room because we had this. I had this thing with the BBC. Now I didn't want any cameras on the set. I didn't want any camera. The audience in. If you've ever been into a studio to watch something being recorded, a lot of it you don't see because the cameras are in your way and
blocking the view.
So I said, look, can we not have cameras on the set? Let's actually play to the audience and have the TV audience looking in at us playing to the audience. So we have various hatches in the walls so the cameras come in and Ken doesn't adhere to any of that. If it's the wall in his way, he just threw it. You know? But and the BBC were great. The BBC were going, "Are you okay with Ken?" I said, "I love him. He's great. There's not an episode yet where something hasn't happened with Ken that he doesn't fall off his stool or he's But no, we're very lucky that the culture we've set up around the show is that anything can happen and we deal with it.
And that's part of the game,
what I like.
isn't it?
And that's sort of like what we try to do here as well. Don't hide mistakes, celebrate them. You know what I mean? Because it's real.
Any architect will tell you, if you've got to have a pipe running through the room, if you can't hide it, then feature it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cover it in brass and whatever. So, and
Now,
it's the same as that.
I have to tell you, one of the funniest
This is
episodes
your mother can talk,
I saw.
can't
She's taken
Dad
over.
doesn't speak to her.
We must be related. Is when you were under the stairwell and you were going to give yourself a little bit of a trim with a wax.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'd never forget
And
that.
when you come out, it looked like a beaver had fallen on the ground. And Buster was trying to kill it.
You didn't know whether to stand it or shoot it.
And you going up the stairwell, both legs at the time jumped through, with your knickers down in between your ankles. Oh, my God.
Well, she never had a reason before to
take her knickers off.
To get waxed. Because she says herself, my legs have been together longer than the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, exactly.
None relates to that.
Okay, we take the word for that.
At least mine doesn't look like a beaver.
No. It looks like a grizzly bear.
Is there a woman in your life that Agnes is based on?
I used to say, when people used to ask me, especially in the book tours in America, they used to ask me, is Mrs. Brown your mum?
Yeah.
And I always said no, because my mum was quite extraordinary. My mum started her life as a nun.
Yeah, right.
Renounced her vows had to take on the Vatican to get out of her vows.
Wow.
And then married my dad. And before she married my dad, when she left the convent, she went on to teach. She taught languages. And then when she married my dad, she was fired because in Ireland you couldn't be a civil servant and a female
married.
couldn't be a civil servant and married. Really? So she said, I'm not having that. So she got involved in the union, got that changed. And in 1953, she became the first woman elected to the Irish Parliament.
Far out.
And I became the first child born to a sitting member of Parliament. She had 11 kids at the same time, so obviously she was right to get out of the convent.
Yes.
And so she was quite an extraordinary woman. But I often think about, you know what? Actually, I think there's a possibility that Agnes is my mother, but without the education my mum had.
Yeah, right.
I was the youngest.
Extraordinary.
I was the youngest of 11, and I found her diary for 1954. In December, she had written an entry, I must see the doctor today. He says it's either a growth or I'm pregnant. And in brackets she has, I hope it's a growth.
You're listening to Nathan, Nat and Shaun.
What we love about Fringe is that...
They bring any old hack into town.
That's right. A whole lot of comedians make their way here just trying to capitalise on our great hospitality.
Yes.
Tom Gleeson, welcome.
That's what I do. I come over here. I'm like the GST. I hoover up all your money and then I take it back to the east.
Yes.
Great call, Tom.
And not only that, you probably, try out some show so that you can do it properly at the Melbourne Comedy Festival.
No, that's not true. I do not use Perth like a dirty rag to polish up my gold. I don't do that. I come in with a brand new show that's already tip top.
Right.
I actually tried it out in Melbourne at some smaller clubs.
Okay.
Ever since probably June. It's a very slow process that I usually don't like people to know about because I like them to think that I'm spontaneously clever. But it does take ages.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So my show's good to go. I did it last
well-honed.
night. It's good. The show's called Sure Thing because it is one.
You know it's good when you're at the Heath Ledger Theatre, like that. Yeah. You know, otherwise you're in some makeshift factory tent.
Like in a cardboard box somewhere.
Yeah.
There is no sawdust on the floor where I am performing.
But
It would be handy,
But
though.
people will spew.
It's air conditioned. Tonight and tomorrow night sold out. Sunday night, some tickets left. I looked at the spreadsheet. 53.
53 tickets
53
left.
tickets.
53 to go. For some people, that's a whole venue.
So
Not for me.
So this interview, has to convince 53 people to buy tickets.
This interview almost didn't happen. To be honest, it would have just sold out due to momentum. So I almost don't know why I'm here. But I'm here anyway
Well, you know
to
what?
keep my commitment.
Yes.
Well, that reminds us, Tom, because you've
got a
let us
history.
down
Before.
before.
A
You've let
history
us
with
down
that.
before.
Don't you?
I didn't want to bring it up again. But
And we're already a bit snippy today.
Yeah,
so-
I heard you're in a bad mood,
Yeah,
but I've come
all
in
of
to
us.
cheer you up. All right.
Yeah,
Your show's very
the cricket
good.
for us was rubbish last night, and
Yes.
Nathan went. He had a great time, but he had a late night. And,
Yeah, late night.
Yes.
Because I remember the last time when you stood us up like super rude. No one's
Yeah.
really done it before.
Yeah.
And because we were like talking about how great Hard Quiz was for like days.
We're big fans.
Like you got days and days of free promotion and
Yeah.
publicity from us.
And then I didn't turn up.
Yeah. I'm
Well-
still going to promote it right now. Hard Quiz is one of the best things on television.
It's one of the best things ever.
I want to know though, how much are you know your cups that you give away at the end?
Yeah,
Do
the big brass
do
mug.
they really get to keep those?
They get to keep
How
them,
much
yeah.
are they? What recommended retail price?
Well, we get them made for us. I haven't looked at that part of the budget, but they're relatively expensive. They're made of brass, so not gold, but they're very,
Yeah.
very
This
heavy.
is the
This
ABC.
is on the ABC. This
Yeah.
is bizarre. Like,
It's
how
our
can they
tax
afford
dollars
that?
you're spending
No, well, we
there.
can't give away money. But that's
I
the
know,
thing.
but like by the look of that cup, when you're saying they're relative, I'm thinking what, over $100?
I reckon probably
Settle-
over 100.
Hey,
probably less than
Hey,
two.
mate, settle down, hey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the ABC. Draw a hard quiz with text on some styrofoam and stop spending our money, dude.
Well, I can't just give them a handshake. They've got to have something.
oh, you can do
if it
something
makes
else
you
with your
feel
hand.
any better, all the contestants aren't paid and the rest of them get given a regular coffee mug. Does that make you feel better? That's what I love about the show. It doesn't make sense. They come on to win the quiz. I pay them out for the whole time, and at the end, they don't even get anything. It's like, it doesn't make sense. What's Eddie Maguire doing, giving away money?
Yeah, that's
I tell
crazy.
you what he's doing, rating less
Rating.
than me.
In your face.
Take that, Maguire.
Take that, East Coast.
In your face.
No sawdust.
Hey, Tom, when you're performing over here, are the crowds different from state to state?
Oh, great
Yeah,
question,
much
Sean.
smarter and
Yeah, they're much more switched on.
Bear in mind,
I find out they book ahead, which I like.
53 more people need to fill up that
Yeah.
thing. So
Well, I
go for
find
it.
that they know exactly how to book, which I like. I find they're a lovely audience. They're very polite. The other day, I talked to someone in the front row, and I asked them their name and their profession. They told me, and they looked at me like, "That's that, isn't it?" Time to move on.
any
Do your
further
show,
questions?
please. We're not going to be part of any of your ad-libbing. Thank you very much.
I want to see some pre-prepared stuff.
Start the proper show, please. I work at the ATO. He did, actually.
Hey, can I ask you about your last interview with Sophie Monk in
Yes.
December? Were you buying them being together, her and Stu? I know you got stuck into it about The Bachelor.
Well, it's weird because so Sophie Monk did Hard Chat and we joked about The Bachelorette and then it became a reality because 10 have run out of ideas. So they just watch the ABC and go, oh, that's a good one. And then that happened. And the weird thing is she hooked up with Stu. I went to high school with Stu.
Did you?
I knew Stu before the whole show existed.
So Stu has been filthy rich his whole life, yeah?
yeah.
Did you go to you went to fancy boarding school, did you?
Yes, I did. In Sydney, right? So I already knew Stu, which is infuriating when you think about it. It means that I could have just met Sophie, where I met her just at some showbiz do, and said, look, my mate Stu wants to root you.
Yeah.
Can he have your number?
Yeah.
If I'd done that, there would have been no show to watch.
Okay.
I could have saved Australia the
Yeah,
pain.
that's right.
It's just
Well
backtrack.
done.
I thought that you were one of the people. Do you come from money?
No, he came from the country.
I know.
It's not his way to get an education.
How did you get your little expensive Scott? What? Talk to me. What's this?
Sacrifice.
Sacrifice. Mum ate dripping. That's all the spoonfuls
only
of
on
dripping.
Sundays. Yeah.
Oh,
No, I
yeah.
came from the country. Yeah,
Yeah, I
we
know
don't-
you come from the
Didn't
country.
have any money out there.
Really?
Yeah.
Just
No.
a crop in the shed.
Drought.
Or something.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
You heard of droughts? Stop placing out there.
Overdrafts pay for
So
it.
because they've got a motel now, haven't they? Your parents still running the
That's
motel?
right. No, well, my mother has now retired. She sold the motel and she's retired, which is good news. So she can finally relax. She's retired at the age of 73.
How's that going? Is she any good at relaxing? Or
Oh,
is
yeah, she is pretty good.
Yeah.
She still needs to find activities to do because she's got a bit of energy in her. And
Yeah.
she's more sarcastic than me, which is frightening when you take her out to a cafe or anywhere where service is involved.
Yeah.
Because every time something arrives, like if she orders food and it arrives, she'll go, good. She manages to make one beautiful word, good. It's a lovely word. She makes that one word sound sarcastic. Your dinner's here, good. Starts eating it.
53 seats left, that's all.
Oh,
Get on board.
I'm sure there's less than
Nah,
that
I
now.
reckon
Probably.
there's 42 left now.
Yeah.
42.
Probably.
Yeah.
Fringeworld.com.au is where you can buy tickets for all the Fringe acts, but obviously you only want to go and see Tom
Well, you
in
can
Sure
experiment
Thing.
and see something new.
Yeah.
Or you can see a sure thing. One that's going to work out.
Sure Thing,
Don't
Sunday
risk
night
it.
only.
Don't risk it on something
No.
new.
You
On
know,
radio,
yeah.
don't risk it on something new. Listen
Yes.
to this show.
And if you
Thank
are
you.
sitting in the front row, be prepared for him to ask your name and occupation and nothing further.
Yeah.
Tom, thank you so much.
Thanks,
It's always
Tom.
a
Thank
delight
you.
to
Thanks
have
for
you in
not
the
being so
studio.
snippy too. I
Yeah,
really
I know.
Thanks for
appreciate
turning
that.
up too.
You
Straight
have
back at you.
cheered us up nowhere.
Keep up the good work.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au.